Hello friends, in this lesson we are going to learn types of sample. So probability sample and non-probability sample, there are two types of samples. In probability sample we have simple random sample, systematic random sample, stratified sample and cluster sample. So let's discuss one by one. Simple random means simple at random. Okay, there is no biasness. It is purely unbiased. Systematic random, it is systematic. Okay, it is planned, well planned. It is not pure randomized, rather than it is systemized. Now we have stratified. So what do you mean by stratification? Stratification means make subgroups and then take sample. So stratification means making the entire group into subgroups. Okay, and take the sample from all the groups altogether simultaneously. This is known as stratified sample. Suppose you have a sample of students of class 10th, then identify the city and identify the schools and take all samples from all schools. Okay, it is a stratified sample of a particular city. Now we have cluster sampling. Cluster means agglomeration, or you can say the group or cloud. So here in cluster sample we make the subgroups, okay, but we take sample only from one or two group, not all groups altogether. So it is the basic difference between stratified sampling and cluster sampling. Is in stratified sampling we take sample from all groups, but in cluster sampling we take samples, we make subgroups. Yes, we make subgroups, we make samples, but samples are not taken from all subgroups. It is the difference. So these types are known as probability samples. Okay, simple, systematic, stratified and cluster. Please note that. Now let's move to non-probability samples. We have convenience sample, we have snowball sampling and we have quota sampling. So let's discuss one by one. In convenience, we take convenience at top priority rather than sampling. And in quota sampling, we make quotas. For example, every nth house should be taken into account for sampling. It is quota. Okay. And in every house, we take only one question or two question. So it is the type of quota system. We decide what we have to done. Okay, it is not random, it is not probabilistic, it is non probabilistic. Okay, so in quota we already defined the number. Okay, and it is not, you can say, totally unbiased because it possesses some biasness. So it is quota sampling. Now let's see snowball. Snowball is a very special type of sampling in which we take sample, and when we interact with any person for taking sample, we take advice from the person and we take information from the person for further sampling. So it is the special type of sampling, very special. This is known as snowball sampling. Okay, for example, now we have to go to a person and we take some questions. Okay, and then we ask him, please refer any other person or refer any other domain of question that you may recommend for us. So that person will recommend us for another person or another, you can say, any domain. So it is snowball sampling. And in quota sampling we have already discussed, we maintain the quota. For example, I have already told you that in particular community we take only 50 houses for consideration. So it is quota, total limitation. Okay, total boundary is defined in the sampling. So we have discussed the types of samples. These samples are very useful in the decision making process. Convenience, snowball, quota, simple random, systematic, stratified, cluster. And it's very important for the firm to take samples and because sample is the basis of database, and by sampling or by statistical research, the firm or industry will be able to produce what the demand is. Okay, so this is the utility of the sample.